go. Alright, that's all set up. And that looks like that's all set up. So we are to roll this morning. So doing better getting up with that. Just checking out a tutorial on how to use Uku Paint before I jump into this. Now that we've got them all nicely UV how I want. So I'm Peter SAKIEVICH, art professor, artist, and educator. I teach at university and online, University of VCU, and online at myartprofessor.com. And I try to make the really challenging things in art a lot easier to use and manage and understand, so that my students can take the work, do the work that they want to do, with the strength and the ability to do so. So I've been working on this little bust study of a horny toad or horned toad. It's a lizard from southwest United States. When irritated, they will squirt blood out of their eyes. They're not that big, but they are. They do have that interesting thing about them. Plus, they look kind of cool. They've got spikes all over their body and really sharp scales sticking out. So I think they're a pretty neat creature. Anyway, I've spent the last few days getting all the UVs done on it after getting it re-topoed. And it's not like, perfect retopology or anything, which I should probably practice at some point. But now we're set up so we can start the process of adding in textures. So I've just been reviewing this morning how to kind of do that with Uku Paint or UCU Paint. It's a free add-on in Blender where you can hand paint your textures. And so that's what I want to do today. So that's over here in the tab. All right, this is the material that's on there right now. So I'm not going to need that one anymore. Put up a new one. Make sure we label it with this horn. That rest. That's what we've been using it to name in other places. So create a quick node setup. I guess we'll keep all of these. I don't know that I'll need the normal one, but go ahead and do that. I'll probably do ambient occlusion separately too. Okay. So that gets me the setup over here with the color. And I'm going to try and start off with a sandy color. That way it's a little better to start with. Essentially, these ones are actually quite dark. I figured that would be a good place to start is with that color. And that's that'll be the base color for that one. Probably the same base color for all of these, but I think I saw something about Howard on there. Maybe that's elsewhere. So we'll add in a layer, a new image into our paint. 24 should be pretty big, I think. Oops, I guess we'll do the layer we want. Okay. So let's go over to texture paint tab. There's the one. That's definitely a new thing going on there. There. Switch to material. There we go. I don't know why it's not there. Alright, there it is. Let me shift this. Get that sandy color on there. And then, texture paint. That could look like brush it or something. There we go. Brushes. Size and strength. And we're set to work with the and then one of these I know I'd like it to be more of a texture brush. Maybe I can duplicate that one. Paper brush 3. How about this be and then to change its stroke, drag dot. Drag dot change it to anchor, I think for the one. Yeah, anchor. So yeah, we are all set up for some hand-painted textures over here. And so I've got my reference up, and I haven't done this program before, so it should be. Usually they're not island safe, it's file safe. Not safe, I guess. Brushes like this. These are brushes, alphas I made. And, good old I made these over in Procreate a long time ago. It's slow to respond. I can put this into that solitary mode. Shift H and object select Shift H. Let it go. Maybe I'll just hide the head. Alt A to bring everybody back. So hopefully everything is up working. I think I might have not turned on my audio last night for the YouTube side of things, but it's up now. So if there's any questions out there, do let me know. Don't mind talking while working. Should be okay with this. I've got my reference up and get ready to roll. So come with these brushes. Those are paint soft. Right now this thing's pretty dark overall. So it's really some of this color. I haven't done this in Blender before, so welcome to new things, right? This is part of the intent of this project was to try out something I'm not that familiar with. Oh, this is a shortcut I like where I have the front button set up to work as the scale brush for sizing the brushes in Blender. I do that, have the same shortcut for all of my programs, and that way it just kind of defaults to that whenever I'm working. Yeah, we're see that scene right there. Here. View. See. Image. Save. Scene right here is kind of catching it. So I think this guy matches over here. So anyway, that's what we're working on today, is getting these talking about there. I wonder if we're going to get that scene. I figured you'd come over here, but I figured there's just oh, there it is, right there. Okay, it's working fine. There it is. Make sure that's covered up there on the border, right? Now it's working. All right. All right, I figured it out. All right, so let's get some of this red in here. So put that up. And one tint. And then it shifts to an orange, lighter. territory where we won't see anything. Ah, that was pretty easy. Alright. Questions all answered here. Let's do this mechanical fake voice. Put that on while I'm working here. Alright, now we can throw on our... I thought I set this thing to be... Where did anchor go? Alright, you should be... You have to save it. Anch. And change stroke to... Anchored. And then save. There we go. Now it's straight up. There we go. Now it's working. Oh, where'd everybody go? Alright. Let's go to paint. Come back a lot of layers there. Let's see if there's a little jitter on there, maybe. That doesn't have jitter. No, that's fine. Good morning, colleague Chris. Learning about texturing today. So, trying to get this up. Let's get a new texture on there. And make generated one. Let's see where those at. Generated. Blank. Recolor grid. Oh, there you go. Image removed. I wanted a. Let's do a clouds. Let's go get a little color variety in there. I don't want to be selecting the secondary color. That's what it looks like it's doing. I think it's grabbing the black in the background. Mapping, texture map, that's fine. Feel free to change. So it's not that, it's not the background affecting it. So yeah, working on this texturing process, seeing how this works. Draw, texture, viewplane. I just don't worry about it. Some of that should matter. How about this? What's this right here? That just brings up those settings that are already up. True. Alright, just get rid of the texture. Alright. I do want to pull that strength back a lot. There we go. And then to select the color, let's see eyedropper on here. Not max, not fill, close, here, blur. What's that? Shift F? Nope, not Shift F. Alright, let's see. Watching me learn how to do things live. So select Blender, select color. Is there a color picker? There is. There it's right there, but or if we go to, looks like we go to edit, references, and this would be under, trying to figure out what the sample color thing is in here. So let's see, key map, color, eyedropper is E. I want to go to image paint, says it X. Let's try that. Yep, it's X. All right, so that's good to know. All right, so it's X. That's just swapping colors. How about we go with E? No. About Shift X. Shift X. There we go. Shift X. Now I know. Okay, now I can drag. Do the drag dot thing. And then we got some erasers down here. We got smear. How does smear work down here? Alright, just smear. Yeah, good to know. Turn off the lighting. just getting like flat lighting in here. Let's see. That. Alright. Guess I'll figure that out. I just wish I could get the lighting under here so I could see it. So there's something going on there. Shift X. There we go. Alright, so that's working. Alright, I think I got it figured out. So probably the version of this that does the drag dot, the anchored brush stroke thing too. Alright, another question I'm asking myself here is flat lighting for texture painting blender. Cycles is fine. Just trying to remove shadows. Workbench. Oh, look at that. Now I know. Workbench. There's something I didn't know before. New thing activated. Alright, that's what I was looking for, is workbench. If we go to Cuckoo Paint, I want to turn off the shiny stuff. There's Cuckoo Paint. Let me do that. So here, go to object. Alright. Where did Cuckoo Paint go? Okay, so it has to be an E in this one for Cuckoo Paint to be turned on. material glue, which is fine. Try this flat paint, flat color for flat lighting. How about that? All right. Drop that layer. I'm going to turn that roughness way down for now. Watching me learn live. Seems okay now. I don't know why it was doing what it was doing before. Alright, let me go back to texture paint. That's fine. Alright, well, it seems fine now. I don't know what's going on before. And let's see, where's that? Select this stuff. There it is. It's at the bottom. I wish I could move these things around. So I wanted to. Alright, I guess it's okay. Alright, and then I wanted to take the soft brush and wanted to duplicate it. We'll call this link and save. And we're going to change its stroke to 100. Perfect. And then make sure we save that. All right. That'll do. All right. So let's do Shift X. All right. Figure it out. Smear. All right. That's right. Put smear brush on it. So, brush. Easy enough, right? All right, so let's try another one. So next up will be this one. So this will be paint. Get rid of this one. This will be pressed, horn, pressed, O2. No, that's all good. And then color. Let's go with a different one. All right, that looks good. So these are lighter and thicker. Add a layer of image. 124 is okay. And then switch to texture paint. Wrong color. Alright, two, lighter, thicker. And the lighting, why does the lighting do this? There we go. That's interesting. Huh, interesting. Let's see. Let's try this one. Let's pop up the brightness. The question I have is, where is it saving this stuff to? Let's see. Output VN. sure where it's sticking these images, but hopefully I'll look that up before we turn this off today. Shift X. All right, and then this one. All right, let's see what the spacing is on this. Where's the stroke stuff? There you go. Spacing. Yeah, that's better. That's a good one. Shift X. All right, let's get this over here. Looks like we've got a bot over on the Twitch side. Yep. Good morning, Bosch. Checking out the window? Yeah? Checking out the window? Everybody hear Bosch get up briefly there? Alright, this is pretty simple. So spin that up and then Good morning. Let's see. All right, well, that feels okay. All right. That's good enough for the start. Put the head back in there. Yeah, that feels pretty good. All right, next. All right, so this one uses multiples. Right? We properly tapped on it. Fine. Separate. Separate. All right, that one's on there. All right, so that's that one packed up. So these need a new texture. So let's save first of all. Where to go? These two are there. Are they not attached to anybody? It's not attached to you. Those are fine. Just trying to remember how I got these organized. So this, and that. I guess they're all the same thing. Alright, I think these three have the same one. Sorry, I was thinking through what I'm doing here. So we'll create a new, get rid of that, get a new one. So this would be pressed part 3. This would be 3 to 5. So we've got horn dot press 0305. And quick node setup. That's all looks good. And then these ones. So we need to go, let's start here. And I think it's control link. And materials. wrong order. That. There we go, now they're linked. And then let's put color on there. Except for you should not have that. So put it up here. Alright. So we've got our setup here. Create the layer, the image. Let's make that 1024 seems okay. Alright. So let's tab. And then let's do a fill. This fill. There we go. All right. Maybe where it's saving these textures too. All right. So Shift X. Wrong button. Texture pane, texture. What's going on here with this brush? What's it doing there? Size is fine. Strength is up. Look over there. Okay, there it goes. It goes up with the color. Shift X. All right. Sampling for color palette, huh? I don't want to sample for color palette, I just want to sample for color. How is it doing this weird little thing here? Okay. Just showing me the size, I guess. All right. Should just make this color palette thing. So if we go back to this one, texture paint, and the color palette. It's not grabbing colors properly. That is not that color. That one's real. There we go. Now it's working. That should be okay. Now let's go back to object mode. All right, let's try that again. So let's bring that strength up. Hey, Bosch. Alright, that feels better. Alright, let's get that cleaned up. Not sure where that's coming from. There it is. It's over there. Alright. Where'd the palette go? There it is. Alright. Grab the wrong brush. Alright, here we go. Alright, and then grab this color. Beautiful. Hey, well, you were here just the other day, I think, right? You said hi and ducked out or something, I guess. Delinquent. Have to send the cops after you or something. I finished the process of UVing this thing the other day. It's got some nice, clean geometry and UVs. I'm just working on some texture painting here. For some reason, this one lost its definition. Oh, your power went out yesterday, huh? Was it a data center knocking it out? Apparently there was a thing not too long ago where a data center somewhere like in Ohio or something, I forget where exactly, it caused a blip in the power system. It blew a transformer and like knocked out a whole bunch of power systems all up and down the east, along the coast and all that. So, alright, so let's do this one. I'll hide the head. Don't need the head up just to keep things a little quicker. See, these three, say to come over here. And these ones are all using, well, let me just turn on wireframe so I can make sure I'm just grabbing all the relevant ones here. So that one, that one, that one. Anybody else? I think that's everybody in this particular, yeah, that's everybody here. So these five are going to need texture. Well, it's not a bearded dragon. It is a horny toad, or horned toad. It's a lizard from the southwest United States, and they will squirt blood out of their eyes. I actually had a bearded dragon for a while. Let's see, so we're in object mode, Uku paint. Where's that? At the bottom. Let's get rid of that off of here. The new one up, and this will be crest. Jaw, I guess is the medium ones. We'll just call it horn mediums. Actually, it needs to be horn dot medium. Now we keep track of it. And alright, then we need to select, and then click materials. So now they're using the same texture map. And then paint node set up. Okay. Let's get this color. Let's see. That. Image. That should be plenty big. All right. So yeah, they're interesting lizards. You know, they're not very big. They're like, you know, their body's like about, you know, smaller than my hand, like, you know, that big or something. The body size. Here's what they look like. There's a few different varieties. Like this one's a different breed than the one I'm looking at here. But I described a bunch of images, but I'm focusing on this particular head. There's a nice happy fat one right there. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen them in the wild. They live out in like Arizona, New Mexico, maybe into the Mexican border area. Might go far south. You know, I don't know. All right. So let's go ahead and actually what I'm gonna do is go ahead and fill this whole thing, and that way I can work into flat mode here. So we got that. We've got, what color do we got here? Texture paint, fill. a good color, and boom. How we go. I can switch to this mode. It's funny, they were invisible when I was in this kind of non-lit mode. Alright, so let's go through our brushes. And there we go. And let's grab this color. Yeah, I haven't really textured in Blender before, so hand painted textures rather. So this is kind of a newish thing for me. Cool. Let's knock this back on that. Get a little, I have a good time at the doctor, I guess. You know, I can't imagine that's the most fun, but you know, don't let them put you down. All right, next. Actually, this is just a little bit more variety there. All right, next one. Hopefully I didn't make a mess somewhere by accident. Yeah, having a good time doing this. There we go. Let's see. All right. These ones don't have the ruddiness to them. So tab, object, select, texture. These are going to be lighter, yellower. String. Need some grays on here. Alright, that's good. Who's next? Let's see. Hello. Good morning. How are we doing out there? Some hand texturing here. Sitting with your dogs, yeah? That's always nice. He's just napping here under my desk, so got up a little bit earlier to check out the window. Actually, what time is it? I'm going. Hour 23. All right, so about 7-ish more minutes, and then I'm going to call it a day. I like to keep these sessions to like an hour and a half. It's kind of just learning new things. So today we're learning to use Uku Paint, which I think I've got down for the most part. And texturing in Blender, which I haven't really done before. This kind of texturing in hand painting. Let's see, where's the head? Oh yeah, it's coming along. Shouldn't take too long to do this. A lot of the prep stuff was definitely more challenging, working on the flow of the geometry, and then UVing that took a little time, but it's okay. Alright, object. So who's connected over here? I think all of these are in the same map. Yeah, these are all in the same map. Alright. So, paint. Get rid of the texture, add in a new one. This will be horns, chin. So now I know where everybody is at. And then if we go to these guys, let's see, let's get the color on here. Quick node setup. That's okay. Create a new layer. Image. Okay. And then I want to let's go to texture paint. Grab the fill brush. And where did my colors go? Let's see, tool. Got that color. Alright, so fill that in. And object. And then I think it's this order. So we grab these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then link. There we go. Now they're all using the same material. Now we can get to painting them. So they should all be very similar to the ones I just did. So it shouldn't take. Let's see if I can my layers here. Permanent texture paint, yes. Make sure we've got the right one selected. Uh-oh. What's going on here? That's why I'm using the smear brush, not the. There we go. All right. And try who's next. There we go. Texture. right. Good morning. Texture paint, brush. I'm sure those are all on top of each other. Chin complete. How are we doing for time here? Hour and a half on the dot, huh? So that'd be a good spot to pause. That way I can review doing this tomorrow with these guys. And how does this look with everything turned on? With some lighting. Yeah, so I'll just have to add in like a ambient occlusion. I think you can actually paint them on here, but I'm going to do that. And the subsurface scattering kind of separately. But feeling good. Learned a new thing. That's what I like to do in the mornings is try out new things, learn them, see how well they work for me, and that's things like this. First thing in the morning, spend about an hour or so working on a new thing. Let's see, lights are on. I should probably set up a secondary 3-point lighting situation on this guy, but definitely making progress. Let's see, let's grab a different one just for the. So, yeah, feeling good about that guy. Anyway, appreciate everybody that came in, and we'll talk to you all later.